Good afternoon, YouTubers. I'm spending the day, or the afternoon, with Lady Faith and Lord Gregory. Believe it or not. And where did... Yes, you bought him a title of a lord.
I got it for his birthday last year.
Lord Gregory.
It was a good idea at the time.
Do I have to call you my lord?
Yeah, if you want.
Why not? Where did you buy this title from?
Same place as every other title.
Same place, which was the country of Sealand, which is a World War II gun platform 7 miles offshore of Felixstowe, and it got taken over, didn't it, by people from pirate radio shows, and the British government went to arrest them all because they're not broadcasting without a licence. And anyway, it came to light that since it was more than 3 miles out of British territorial waters, British courts had no jurisdiction over it whatsoever, and the Ministry of Defence had abandoned it after the war. And so this guy moved in. He said, right, I'm a country, and he took it over, and it's been a country ever since. And yeah, you can buy titles. So Lady Faith, that's where she got her title from. And now his lordship on the end there. Excellent.
It's okay.
Anyway, we've had a shoot. We had a shooting competition with the air pistol, and you came second, didn't you?
Yeah.
And there we go. And you were going to talk about, so you prefer the buttstock. What do you think about the buttstock? Do you think you prefer the buttstock to just shooting it normal?
I'm better with the sniper.
You like the buttstock?
I like sniper guns. I'm not very good with close range guns compared to a sniper.
Well, you should play with all of them, all different types, and then find out which ones you like the best.
That's more your hobby, not mine.
Which ones you're more good at.
I just play with them when I get a chance.
Well, we've got half a CO2 capsule to use up. It's got at least 25 shots left in it. I might go and use it up myself. We'll see what happens. But you were going to talk about your channel thing that you do.
Was I?
What is it? Well, that's what you said you were going to talk about.
I said we could. I didn't. And I also said that I don't know how to start off with explaining that. So I didn't think we were going to do it.
But you have an Etsy shop, haven't you? And you don't mind telling people about it,
No,
do you?
I don't mind telling people.
Because you sell stuff on it that...
I don't think many people are going to be that interested unless they know the characters.
Yeah, because you and his lordship there have got this 3D printer, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you make stuff, you make artistic stuff.
We've got multiple.
Little figures and different things. What's your Etsy shop called?
It's called Braden Craft Studio.
Braden
Craft Studio.
Craft Studio.
Yeah.
So you type into Etsy, Braden Craft Studio. Not Lord Braden.
No, not Lord Braden.
No,
Not a title I go by usually.
He made it before we met.
Braden Craft Studio, okay. And what sort of things do you produce?
We do all types of different 3D printing stuff. So at home we've got 2 resin 3D printers and 1 FDM printer, and we basically print off. At the moment we're mostly focusing on certain figures from a show called Has Been Hotel, which is what our main audience is currently, is Has Been Hotel fans, and we do all the different characters sort of 3D printed in little statue forms, and then we hand paint them and everything. A lot of people seem to enjoy them.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, guys, they made me a little Hawker Harrier. 2 actually.
2 of them.
I think one's here. I think they're the ones on the boat. So super cool little thing.
Was it the camo one you spied on the boat? Was it the black one? I think it was the camo one, wasn't it?
Black one, I think.
Black one's on the boat. I think
Yeah,
the other one's here. It's on top of where it was. So these figurines they've got a big fan base, have they?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean the show itself has a big fan base. For us personally, I think we've only got 40 odd orders.
68
Oh, 68.
from what I checked.
You can buy the little characters and things. That's cool. That's super cool.
I wouldn't say they're little, because they're like that tall.
Well, yeah, some of them are.
Majority of them.
I think the smallest one
I
we've
don't.
got,
Yeah, the smallest one we've got is Lou, and she's like that tall.
I think
She's
16.
15 centimeters exactly.
Right.
So how hard is it to, if, for example, I don't know anything about 3D printers. I've seen them on videos. If I were to buy a 3D printer, how long would it take me to learn how to use it?
For FDM, I'd say FDM's easier, which is like the plastic filament, like the PLA kind of filaments and ABS.
The videos you see of it going round and round
Yeah,
and round
yeah,
and coming
yeah.
up, that's an FDM.
Build something.
They're typically easier, I would say, personally, because with that, it's a lot of the newer ones are really easy to get into because it's sort of like plug and play. You don't have to mess around with like building it all yourself. You just put the parts together, and then when it comes to actually learning a program, there's quite a few that you can choose from. But I use Cura, and that's really easy to get into because you literally just load up your file, and you can download those or you can design them yourself, and the Cura will do literally everything for you. You can adjust certain things like the infill density and the layer height and how fast it prints and everything like that, and all of that can be like configured and stuff, so it's really easy to get into. I would say resin printing on the other hand is quite difficult because obviously you've got a lot more stuff to take into account, like resin fumes, because resin is really toxic for you.
Is it?
So you've got to wear masks, gloves, everything like that. And you've got a lot of the old ones, like the ones that I've got a Elegoo Mars 2 Pro and Elegoo Mars 4 Max, and they don't have anything like auto bed leveling or anything like that, so you've got to make sure that you get that really dialed in, because a lot of the time if you don't, and you don't clean the vat properly and you don't check it through, the cured resin that gets like left in the vat after a while will sort of like create issues and grooves and indents and eventually like rip through the FEP screen, which is like a little plastic layer that holds the resin in its vat.
Right.
And that will seep down into your sort of screen, your LCD screen, that will damage it if you can't get it off with a blade. But yeah, resin printing I would say is the harder one. FDM printing is really easy to get into now.
So it's not just that easy. You can't just buy one and you're an expert, just print stuff off. It's just not that easy. Could you print something like that? I mean...
Yeah, we could print something like that, yeah, definitely.
Because that's actually too small for me. I mean, I like the idea of the buttstock, but I find I'm all hunched up, when I'm shooting it.
Yeah.
But I think if it was an extra 4 inches long, for example, I could probably knock them out. I'm sure lots of people would think, because I've never fired a pistol with a buttstock before, but that's an idea. Maybe I could pay you to produce buttstocks for me that are a bit longer.
Yeah.
Is that possible? Because that's like
Oh, I guess we're getting more than that.
cast plastic, is it?
Yeah, for that.
Plastic injection molded.
Yeah. This looks like injection molded plastic. But for this, we'd do something. We'd have to design it, obviously, and then as for extending it out, we'd have to design it so it's a lot longer. And so we could print sort of something like this. We'd probably have to print it in different parts because the printer that I've got is I think the Neptune.
You can only go so
2.
big.
Yeah.
So the print bed's not massive, so we'd have to print this in quite a few parts and maybe sideways, sort of like split down the middle. But then we'd all glue it together, sand it down, and fill in the gaps and everything. For the little rubber grip on the end, we wouldn't be able to print something like that. But for the actual hard plastic, we could.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
I guess we're getting more than your tenner. If you pay us.
So now, what would something like that cost to make?
Print?
Once you've got all your plans and everything, and you to actually print and produce.
When it comes to printing something like that, I would say that wouldn't even take like a fourth of the roll because it comes in like 1 kilogram spools.
Yeah.
So if you made it with like say a 50% infill, it would probably take just under a quarter. So usually rolls of filament go for about 20-ish pounds for the 1 kilogram. Yeah, something like that. So you're only looking at about 5-6 quid to print something like that.
Really?
Yeah, it could be even cheaper depending on, as I said, the infill density and how thick you want it and how fast it prints. And
so I could order quite a few of them off you.
Yeah, but that's not including shipping.
And obviously there's shipping costs, there's
And
all
our
kinds of
own
other
time.
costs. So, I mean, the thing is, if that was available on the internet already for me in a longer size, I'd be quite happy to pay 20 quid for that. You know, an extra longer buttstock instead of a tiny one, because it's just too small. It's just like I say, it needs an extra 4 inches. People make parts. They design parts for Land Rovers. I know a friend of mine, and I bet he could do that on a 3D printer as well. On the top of the wing, there's like a vent, and he redesigned it, and he got someone to manufacture them for him, and he was banging them out, loads of them. He was making a good do out of it. So you know, you've only got to think of something, design it, and come up with it, and people will buy it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was something online where a guy actually 3D printed like a whole new body kit for his car. So there's a lot of different useful uses.
You need a really big printer.
Yeah, there's large ones. There's like a new one that Elegoo just released, and it's humongous. It's like a giant brick, and the build printing volume on that is massive. So you could definitely print like half.
Yeah.
I've seen
like
videos
a
of
bumper.
people living in 3D printed homes and they look awful.
Yeah. I did see classic cars, you know, where they've got like the backlights, like the red lights and things, and you just can't buy them anymore. But you can buy the program and you can 3D print them, you know, using red resin or something, you know.
Yeah, like translucent red resin.
You can actually print your own backlights. I mean, it's amazing. There's obviously a big future in it, but it's obviously, you got to know what you're doing for sure. How long have you been 3D printing?
I got started, I'm not sure how many years ago it was, but I think I was in like year 8 or 9 of secondary school, which would have made me about 14 or 15, right? I think something like that. But yeah, we started out with like, because my dad was really into it, and that's what got us started.
Right.
He ended up buying a Net A8 clone. It was like a clone of the printer for cheaper.
Yeah.
And it was like one of the first sort of like commercially available 3D printers.
Okay.
So he picked that up and he started printing basically everything. At one point he tried making like a full life-size R2-D2 from Star Wars.
Right.
And I just started off by printing little small things like batarangs and sort of like little pins and logos from like Pokemon games and stuff like that. And that's what I originally started on, but as I kind of got older and I managed to get my own printer, that's when I started working on different things like helmets from video games and TV shows, and like even full sets of armour. So that's mostly what I do. So I make props like swords and all sorts. That's usually what I use
tiny
my
ones or big ones?
life-size ones, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so at the moment I've got 2 life-size Master Swords from the Legend of Zelda games. I've got the full-size one and then the damaged one from one of the latest games.
Damaged one's about that long.
Yeah.
And the
You
full-on
do
one.
Darth Vader helmets and
The full-
Star Wars stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
I
full-on
printed
one goes to about here on me.
I printed a Phase 2 Clone Trooper from Star Wars. I also 3D printed a Iron Man helmet. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do with it.
My daughter's got up and walked off and she's ruined my framing.
No, it was because you two were having a conversation.
Well, that's
It felt
okay.
really awkward sat in the middle.
You felt awkward?
Because he's talking a lot and you're asking
Yeah,
questions.
but I'm asking him
You're
about...
interviewing him, not me. And I was told to sit in between both of you because I'm the common part.
Well, we wanted you in the shop, that's why.
And you're a
Because
part of the company too.
Yeah.
Dad, you only want me in the shop because I get more views than you.
You're only in the shop for ratings, bitch!
Exactly. I've seen all your comments. It's like, hi, thanks, so...
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
Well,
exactly
you're very popular. People like to see you. That's the truth of it.
I don't know why I don't do anything. I sit in the background, and next thing I know, in your lives, it's like a load of hello to me. I'm like, hi.
Popular without trying.
There you go. So if you want any Star Wars helmets or
Oh, we don't do the stuff.
bits and bobs,
We
you need
don't-
to get onto
Braden Craft Studio.
We don't
Braden
make,
Craft Studio.
We don't
And
make the Star Wars stuff, but we're working on fantasy things for Fantasy Forest and Dungeons and Dragons. So like potions, dice. What else were we gonna do?
We were looking at sort of 3D printed swords as well at some point.
Yeah, we've got design swords. I still need to make the daggers for the girls.
Yeah.
I can see there being a market for
What, the fancy thing?
daggers and stuff like that,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
no,
because
there's,
they're all banned in the UK. You can't buy anything in the UK
no, but
anymore.
you can make fake things as long as you can prove it's not actually made of steel and shit. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
yeah.
But there's a big thing in the UK for Dungeons and Dragons and fantasy themed things at the moment, because there's obviously D&D, the film came out ages ago. Then there was Critical Role.
Baldur's
and
Gate.
Baldur's Gate is the main D&D game at the moment. Everyone fucking loves that shit. Might even try and make something from that. Dibs on not doing steering. I can't do him. He's got too much detail.
They've all got detail.
I know, but I think he's got the most detail. I'm not doing Gale either. He's boring. No one likes Gale. He's a really annoying character in that game.
Isn't Gale a girl's name?
Gale. He's English.
Uh-huh.
Is he a wizard or a...
Wizard, yeah.
He's a wizard.
Yeah, we're trying to get some extra stuff onto the store at the moment and not necessarily rely on the has-been hotel figures, but you know, it's a process to find what works and what would sell and how easy and fast we can make them, stuff like that. So, yeah.
Wasn't it one of Fiona's sister came up with the idea of buttons?
No, we did that.
Or was it you that thought of buttons? You know,
Well,
you could get
We had...
particular designs of buttons that people just can't get
We
anywhere.
had Halloween party to go to at his friend's house, and he didn't have any Halloween themed trousers, so his sister gave him hers. So I had to take them in for him because he's the skinniest one of all of them, and we 3D printed crow skull buttons.
Yeah, we just quickly whipped up a design where it's sort of like a little button, like a circle with sort of a raised lip, and it's got like a crow skull, just sort of protruding out the face of it.
We've got them as
Well,
What do you
I
call
think
that
it's a
thing?
genius idea because it won't use up much plastic and
yeah.
postage will be quite cheap, won't it? And it's you know,
Yeah, what do you call it's not a brooch, it's like a clip thing. Here, they had them in the Victorian days. Like, looks like a little photo frame, but it's got something raised.
I don't know what you call
But
it.
we've got those. We've got a gold one and a silver version of the
Okay.
buttons. Because
Okay.
we both... I think I wore the silver one, or did you? I wore the gold one.
I think you wore the gold.
I think I wore the gold one, you wore the silver one, because pale skin. Plus you had those bright blue coloured contacts in. They look normal at first, and then you put... you shine a UV light on them, and they go bright blue. That's why I nicked your torch.
You nicked it again.
No, back then. When
Oh,
you
I
looked
see.
for your torch, that's where it was.
I see.
It was so I could do this in front of his face at the party to show him.
Right. Well,
I might
I
have-
can buy you a UV torch if you want one on Amazon.
That would actually help because resin is UV curing, and if there's any issues with them, and we don't want to put them back in the printer, not that we can, we'd have to do it manually and then shove them in the cure.
Remind me, and I'll buy one for you and send it to
I'm pretty sure.
your house.
I'm pretty sure I've got a video or a picture of his contacts. Yeah. So that's what they look like when you had the UV light on him.
Can you hold it up to the camera?
Oh, I don't think it's gonna.
Oh,
You need to
that'd
tap tap the phone. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Those were the ones he wore. It only showed for a second. And mine were orange at the time. I think it needs to be tapped again. I need to get closer. Oh, it barely shows, but yeah. I had bright orange ones in. Yeah, you couldn't see them during the day, but this is what he wore. So he actually had the
Right, yeah.
and he was wearing the crow buttons on the trousers.
Cool. And people might come up with ideas and email you with ideas. And he's open. His lordship is open to ideas.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he'll
We've
produce them, but
yeah, well, we've got an email for that as well.
he might do. You know.
If anyone did want to ask any questions about the business, we've got a business email for that.
Excellent. I will put a link in the description down below.
We do also have a YouTube channel linked to it, but we haven't posted anything yet, have we?
No. Well, we have. We posted a few videos on it, but we haven't posted recently.
Right, yeah.
Because I haven't made any new ones.
Well, you need to make a YouTube channel,
Yeah.
do more, and then talk about ideas and
Our majority of our
show how you're working it, how you're making things, and
our platform is on TikTok.
And
It's
things-
just 2,500 people.
you got TikTok. Say that again.
Yeah. I started off with TikTok and just making.
What's your TikTok channel called?
I think the same thing.
You're allowed to say.
Braden Craft Studio, I think. The same one.
I think so. I know it's BCS of some sort, but I don't know what the actual. I can't remember what the actual thing is. Let me check. My. Got away. Too many things going. Braden.craft.studio.
There you go.
Because there's always a difference. We've either got it as one full thing or an underscore and it's shit. It's confusing. But yeah.
Yeah, that's where most of our followers are on TikTok. And that's where we get most of the ideas, I think, at the moment for when it comes to what figures to make and which figures to sell. So,
I
yeah.
want to do Emily next. I want my own Emily. She's so cute. You wouldn't understand this unless you actually paid attention to Hasbin Hotel when I tried to show it to you. It's an be warned, I also have to warn. Hasbin Hotel is not a child's cartoon. It is an over 18 cartoon for a reason. It is an adult only show. Not just because they swear, but because there is also violence and sexual nature. But it is also a musical. Do not show your children. The amount of people I have heard say that they have shown their children this, do not show them. They should not be in any cosplay relating to angel dust especially. Just don't.
PSA.
That is a PSA that people seem to forget. And then they get angry when they find out that their kid has been watching something they shouldn't.
Okay.
Because they don't pay attention to the
Okay.
PSA.
Well, I've got no idea what you're talking about.
You will when I show you this.
Hopefully you will. And
If they've seen it, they'll know. It's on Prime Videos.
thank you very much for watching.